Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome back to round 4 of season 4 of the F124, my driver career mode even I should say. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Japanese Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the last video from Albert Park, Australia that went live at the start of the week, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. As you guys might have noticed, I'm toning back ever so slightly how many videos we're going to be doing with this series. I just want to make some different content as well alongside it. So, of course, yeah, the video that went live yesterday from Monza 1924 versus 2024 was a really, really good one. And if you didn't check it out, then I would recommend going back and giving it a watch as well. I'm going to try and hopefully start giving channel members slightly early access to some videos as well in the future. It's not going to be guaranteed, it's not going to be set in stone, but yeah, I'm going to try and make sure that obviously if you are supporting us, it costs as little as £1 a month, then you can obviously get some access to some videos earlier than it would normally be guaranteed as well there. So you'll still get all the same content, but it is greatly, greatly appreciated. Taking a look, though, at the Drivers' Championship at the moment, Leclerc still leads by 4 points over ourselves, but Lando Norris becoming our third winner in 3 races so far this campaign. Safe to say, yeah, McLaren are well and truly in the fight as well here, but, yeah, kind of tensions continued to rise at Ferrari last weekend. Leclerc and I once more weren't too happy with each other, so hopefully this weekend as we return to Japan things might calm down a little bit again. This circuit is one of the most difficult for you to compete against the AI inside this game, so we'll have to wait and see as to how things get on. Get yourself subscribed if you're new, and yeah, let's do this thing.
This is a circuit where sometimes you see something truly exceptional behind the wheel. We've seen it from Vettel, we've seen it from Verstappen. It is a remarkable place to watch a car at speed. Welcome to Suzuka. We're qualifying for the Japanese Grand Prix.
Well, historically then, Suzuka has not been a particularly good track for either myself or Charles Leclerc, both in game and at least on his side of the garage in real life. So, once again, this might be a tough weekend for Ferrari. McLaren, of course, you would expect them to be very, very quick around this high-speed venue as well. But, yeah, so far, though, pace looking okay. We had to spend a lot of time doing setup work in free practice. I just could not find anything that was working with the car until finally we had a little bit of a breakthrough. So, yeah, I really don't know whether we're going to be in the fight for pole today. Have got to be careful of some of those curves to make our way through Dunlop. Yeah, currently you can see we're quick through Sector 1. We're definitely running more downforce than the AI cars are, as always seems to be the case. I must admit, yeah, the cars do certainly feel a lot more fun with a few more upgrades on them around a track like Suzuka, or otherwise they do just feel quite sluggish. There's 1 second up then on Carlos Sainz as we make our way down in towards the final couple of corners. He set a decent benchmark of a 27.5. Of course, as always, it's very, very tight for time here in Q2. Up towards the line, though, hopefully we're going to see a nice improvement. 26.3. We do go top of the board there. I'm quite happy with that. There we go then. George Russell could be our biggest threat this weekend there, as once more it is your big 5 teams that will make it into Q3. It's really odd. It seems that the margins are super, super tight, but it is still just the Astons, Ferraris, Mercs, McLarens and Red Bulls that make it through pretty often at the moment. I don't want to stop including Q2, because I know full well it'll be the one weekend where things do get mixed up a bit. But yeah, we do seem to have a couple of tenths in the back pocket over everybody else. Let's see if we'll keep hold of that into Q3. Well, as everybody else then has set their first times on the board, I think for everybody the goal now is just to see how close we can get to a 1 minute 25. But this has been a circuit we've seen Verstappen dominate on Saturday in recent years. Doesn't seem to be the case this weekend, though. Although he is now again quicker than his teammate Sergio Perez down in towards turn 1. I mean, it's completely pinned through that first part of the corner. You are just braking as you reach the exit of that curb. And then the S's as well. Oh, I tipped it in a bit too much curb that time. Luckily, able to keep our foot in it, but that was scary there. The back end, oh, still trying to break free. We had these issues in Q3 back at Australia, didn't we, as well? The car tried to break free from underneath us. That put all the pressure on our last-ditch run, which admittedly we did still make work there as well. Just getting a little bit sloppy through the Degners. This lap, yeah, we're leaving a little bit of time on the board. But we did still go purple through Sector 1. We make our way then down in towards the final couple of corners. Yeah, this lap hasn't been perfect. In fact, I think it's going to end up being slightly slower than we saw in Q2. Try and get the throttle down out of the Casio Triangle up towards the line. 26.4. We go 2 tenths slower than our teammate Charlie, who as always we see Leclerc come on strong right when it matters. Well, although we've seen 3 different winners from the first 3 Grand Prix, I have taken back-to-back pole positions, and I'd love to make it a 3rd in a row this weekend. We need 2 more tenths of a second here against Leclerc, and I'm willing to put it all on the line if I need to. Our teammate, that was a quick lap time, but I reckon if I nail it, we could go into the 1 minute 25s there. Will we see anybody else as well be able to challenge him as the AI finishing off their final runs? Again, you can see just how aggressively we're going over those curbs. We're willing to risk it all here. I want to try and claim that pole position then. It's all nudge the curb on the exit of Dunlop that time round. Having to be a little bit more careful. Looks like we've seen no real movement behind us. Russell still in P3 ahead of Verstappen and Oscar Piastri there, and a bit tidier as we make our way under the bridge. So that is fantastic. We've found all the time we need. Now we've got to try and do is keep hold of it through the second half of the lap towards Spoon. I mean, it's just down 2 gears, flick it in at the 50-meter board, down another gear through the final part. And you've got to try and roll on that throttle on the X there, which we will do absolutely fantastically. 4 tenths up at the moment. So we are super close towards looking for a 1 minute 25 here. We're a 1/10.5 up on Leclerc. Clearly through the Casio Triangle, we are very, very strong against our teammate as well. Purple Sector 1. Purple Sector 2, a little bit wide on the entry through the Casio Triangle. It is going to make it a whole lot closer than I wanted to as we get up towards the line. Will it be enough? No, it's not. I've completely bottled it. No, I haven't. How close is that gap? 3 pole positions in a row, but this one easily the closest of the lot. 0.003 of a second in it between myself and Charles Leclerc there. I genuinely thought I'd bottled that going through the final corner, but we claim pole position. That might be one of my closest ever qualifyings inside this game, but it is P1. Let's see if we can try and convert it and become the first repeat winner of the year.
As of 2022, 12 champions have been crowned at the Japanese Grand Prix. Who will be tasting glory today at the flag? The lights go out in a few moments' time. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Firestarter lines up on pole position, Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Hamilton, Perez, Stroll, Gasly, Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Sainz, Hulkenberg, Albon, Behrman, Ricciardo, Joe, and Frederick Vesti. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Well, after a dramatic Saturday afternoon here at Suzuka, let's wait and see whether Sunday is more of the same. Of course, we've seen some iconic teammate battles around this circuit in years gone by. Will we get another one today? Of course, tensions still getting more and more between myself and Leclerc. 4 points in it between us as we head to Suzuka this weekend. I'm hoping for the first time this year we can try and claim the World Championship lead. One-stop strategy is going to be the way to go. It's going to be medium over to the hard tyre for most of your runners. It is going to be 5 red lights here on the grid. A mighty long haul, but it is lights out and away we go there, and we have not got off to a good getaway, so immediately we're going to try and squeeze our teammate down in towards someone there. We've got another car. Whoa, there's contact as Leclerc tried to swing out there ever so slightly whilst we were still with him. We'll get a warning for contact with our teammate there, but we will just about hang on as into the S's will go side by side with Charlie. Finally decides to back out of it, so despite not getting a particularly good getaway, unlike in Albert Park, this time around we do hang on to the lead of the GP through the first couple of corners there as Russell still hangs on ahead of Verstappen. Norris, I think, has moved up then into P5 of the race as well then, but that was not really what we wanted at the start of this one. Contact between us and our teammate, but on the other hand, I absolutely refuse to let him take the lead of the GP there off the start. He has again a look down the inside down at the hairpin. Really struggled to get the car rotated in there early on, but we have hung on to the lead. Leclerc is still trying to go for it, though. I'm sure he'll have something to say about that aggressive defence in towards that first corner. Oh, Leclerc again having a look for it. Oh, and again, he just has to back out in towards that first corner. And like I said, we're running high downforce here than pretty much every other car, I would have thought. So, trying to kind of use that Ferrari straight line speed advantage to kind of keep us close. But I think once the DRS is enabled now, I think Leclerc might get past me pretty easily. It's just a case of how well we can stick with him. We've got yellows. Someone already with issues early on. Not too sure who that is. I don't know whether it's a car having a mechanical failure or what's going on. I mean, look at that. By Charles Leclerc clean past me. Looks like yellow flags have gone away again, so not too much of a concern. But yeah, now the hunter becomes the hunted. There we go. This is going to be the more important bit then. Now we've got the DRS off Charles. Are we able to go straight back past him? This is a problem we've seen early on this year, where our teammate has got that bit more straight line speed, so he can go past me. Not as easy for us to go back past him there, and you can immediately see how much we're struggling to close in to the outside again through turn one. I mean, how many times do we reckon we're going to go side by side with Charles through that first corner today? George Russell definitely has got the best seat in the house. I'm sure he'd love to try and finally claim a win. Oh, here we go. Wait, I wasn't expecting Leclerc to get a run of me down here. So we're going to go side by side in towards Spoon then. Not too sure how this one's going to pan out. Never really do you see the AI try and get a run down there. We'll hook it up again around his outside though. Now we might see Leclerc again. The AI have got some tremendous straight line speed off of this corner as Russell trying to wait in the wings as well. He's going to try and muscle his way around our outside. Are we just seeing McLaren once again holding off early on? So we look how bunched up this is through the final couple of corners, nose to tail, between at least your first 5 cars here, as far back as I can see on the Delta. But surely, again, Leclerc, he's going to be under pressure back down towards turn one. I mean, what do Ferrari do? Do you let us just fight as we're going to try and look to the inside this time? Whoa! What was that? Leclerc backed out of it and then decided he was going to turn in at me through that first corner. Somehow they keep the car pointing in the right direction there. Luckily, F124's interesting grip physics working out in my favour that time, but Leclerc just tried to drive through me. What on earth was that? Well, let's ride on board then with Charles Leclerc as we make our way down in towards turn one. You can see we're going to force ourselves to the inside of him there in towards that first corner, and you can just see Leclerc, he tried to pinch me in, I think, onto the apex as well there, so maybe he was hoping I'd back out, but I mean, we're fully in front of him near enough at this point. We've got our rear wheel is alongside his front wheel, and still Leclerc tries to turn in on me there. Turns in even more aggressively in towards the corner. And I mean, look at that. We get a huge snap of oversteer. We just about there flick the car in, almost like a front-wheel drive car, rather oddly in this game, and then just kind of point where you want to go, use the brake and the throttle at the same time there to lock up all 4 wheels and try to find some kind of grip. Luckily, we keep it pointing the right direction, and we'll live to fight another day. Well, just watching our top 3 cars then, it looks like Leclerc might have the straight line speed to keep Russell at bay. We'll wait and see again as to whether he's able to make a move, but yeah, it seems like the Ferrari's very good in the straight line, the McLaren's very good through the corners, the Red Bull's kind of a decent all-rounder, not quite as good as either anywhere. I mean, look at that, yeah, Russell, he cannot get close enough to Charlie down in towards turn 1, so unless it's us, I think our teammate here is just kind of sitting in control. So I need to try and find a way back through, but I think we all know Verstappen is not an easy driver to overtake ever in Formula 1. Right, come on then, let's see if we can push the envelope a bit with Verstappen there, back down towards turn 1. What on earth is that? Verstappen broke early in the end, so I said about how difficult it might be to overtake him. We might have made it look easy in towards that first corner there, so give him a bit of a squeeze through turn 2. And up into the S's we go then. George Russell now in a Ferrari sandwich, but yeah, Verstappen, I mean, he was just kind of sitting half defensive in towards that first corner. We thought about it, we had a look around the outside, and he kind of just handed it to me. Not too sure what the Dutchman's plan is here. Maybe, again, just kind of seeing him not want to get involved in too many scraps. But yeah, Russell, you've got to try and get a run on Leclerc, otherwise I'm going to be getting the run on you, sunshine. How can a car that is that tucked up under the gearbox of the next car in front of it, you know, with DRS, with battery, not able to get any kind of run there? I mean, he drops a little bit in the traction zone out of the final corner, but look at the run we're able to get on Russell. He's got nothing against Leclerc right now.
Really good job with that target, mate.
Not too sure why I deserve to get squeezed entirely onto the grass there by George, but again, we'll try and hook it up around the outside. Oh, I tried to chop in there a little bit too aggressively, but we're back up. Whoa, and into P2, only temporarily though. There's a bit of a trip through the grass. Come on, hang on to it. That's annoying. That's really, really annoying there as Leclerc now, I get a little bit of a breakaway at the front, 3.5 seconds, and I've kind of held up everybody else behind. Oh, okay. Verstappen now reporting with issues. He's just made the move on George Russell, but are we about to see the Dutchman start to slow down then? And maybe that little mistake we made has actually given Ferrari a bit more breathing room with both cars then at the front of the field. You just see, yeah, that gap opening up slightly over the Dutchman. Well, I'm kind of not so worried about that. I'm more focused on Leclerc in front. Well, looking on the mini-map then, it seems like most of the field have remained fairly bunched up throughout the first stint of this Grand Prix. It's normally the pit stop window where things really start to spread out inside F124. So I think we're going to try and go for a slightly early pit box here. Normally, the driver in front within Ferrari gets the choice of pit stop. We saw it back at Bahrain. Leclerc there able to box before myself. So yeah, I think we could come in maybe even the end of this lap. Gap is coming back down to Charlie. We've definitely got a couple of extra tenths in the back pocket over him. But it is just going to be about trying to get a couple of tenths out of him every single lap until the end. You know what, we're going to go for it. We're going to dive it in the end of this lap. Probably could have opened up my MFD at a better time there, down through 130R. Was probably not the ideal spot, but yeah, hopefully we can try and get a 2 or a 3 lap undercut then on Leclerc here and not come out in too much traffic a bit further behind. Oh, almost. Not only did we speed, but into the outside wall as well, which has been an absolute catastrophe here. That's the other thing. Trying to make sure that we don't get held up in the pit lane either.
And the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
2.4 second stop is a pretty good one as well. Looks like, yeah, we are going to be right out of the rear of the field, but yeah, that mistake we made has really helped out Leclerc in this Grand Prix at the moment. He's got a big old advantage. I mean, unless something dramatic happens, I think it will be a Ferrari that takes the win here, but I just want to make sure it's ours, not his. Well, there we go. That's perfect. Purple middle sector, sorry, and the first one we're measuring up against. Hoping Fred Vest is into the pit lane within the next couple of laps, though, because ultimately, yeah, we are probably going to close in on him. Maybe we could get the DRS, and then obviously have that extra bit of straight line speed, but I think it'll probably be this lap we start seeing cars in. There we go, George Russell, I believe, and Oscar Piastri both into the pit lane then at the end of lap 13. So now we're just starting to get the first few cars into the box. I mean, Leclerc, yeah, really does want to extend his stint. No, he isn't. What on earth Mark on about? So Verstappen then is all the way down to last place temporarily. So I think he's been held up in the pits quite badly there. Hamilton, it is, sorry, not George Russell in. So, yeah, I'm hoping we haven't obviously got overcut by the AI. But the hard tyres often are the tyre I'm most comfortable with inside this game. And there we go, that's the big one for us. Leclerc into the pit lane then. Are we going to get the jump on our teammate? We've taken a lot of time out of some of the back markers, but of course you'd hope Leclerc would be a bit quicker than them as Purple through that middle sector, so we are still flying along. Bonus points could be useful by the end of the year, so if we could bag ourselves fastest lap, well, I would take it rather happily as Leclerc already then making his way down the end of the pit lane. Are we going to be close enough to our teammate? Yes, he is. There we go.
Look into changing the ERS mode in the MFD for a more conservative burn rate.
Mark could not have timed that radio message any worse point of this Grand Prix, but up into the lead we go then here. And better than that, we've even got the DRS range over Charles. Don't know how long that'll last for. He's on much fresher tyres than myself. Hamilton now up to P3 ahead of Oscar Piastri and Fernando Alonso a little bit further behind. So the undercut has been super powerful here. Well, I'm sure Leclerc will have been over the radio to the team asking just how on earth they allowed him to get undercut so badly by his teammate here. Shades of Singapore 2019, where we saw Sebastian Vettel's last ever Formula 1 victory. But yeah, we're just holding the gap over Charles at the moment at that 1 second range.
Getting some strange readings from a couple of the sensors, so I don't think you need to be worried, just some bad data. So keep doing what you're doing. I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems.
I hate that message. I hate that radio message, and it annoys me even more when it comes during the middle of a bit of commentary as well there. But yeah, Leclerc, we're just able to hang on at the moment. Luckily, we do seem to have the straight line speed down in towards 130R, where of course the DRS detection point is. But Yeah, the team might have told him they'd allow fresher tyres to the end. I'm not going to make it easy for him. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We are not friends. Oh, we got yellows, we got yellows. One of the Mercs, that's Hamilton. Hamilton's gone for a spin. What on earth's happened to Lewis then late on in the day? Luckily for us, we don't get a safety car or anything like that. I mean, I think if we did get a safety car now, I would box for a fresh set of the soft compounded tyre. But Lewis in trouble. And Lewis Hamilton then riding in, tucked up behind his new teammate, and Oscar Piastri maybe wants to get the better of him. I think for the first time this year, it just goes straight on down the end of the Casio triangle there. So not a major error by Lewis, but it is going to drop him back into the clutches of the McLarens and stroll behind. Not what you expect from a 7-time Formula 1 world champion. As the laps slowly ticking by then towards the end of the afternoon. 7 laps to go here from Suzuka. I mean, tyre wear is not much of a concern at all around this venue. But Leclerc, I tell you what, I don't think he's got an answer for us right now. It's looking really, really good at this stage of the day. But yeah, Leclerc, he just cannot seem to get close enough again. And, well, that works out fantastically. Is he just waiting for a last-ditch run right towards the end? Is he just charging up his battery pack to try and go for something? I don't quite know. Ferrari do seem to kind of retain information from the pair of us about each other nowadays, because we will use it strategically. That is something we haven't clearly spent enough time thinking about today either, than fuel usage. Again, this Ferrari car is a bit of a thirsty girl. I thought I'd nailed it inside the pre-race kind of setup with the car, but it looks like at the moment we're still burning through more fuel than the team are expecting us to. So yeah, 5 laps to go of this Grand Prix. Fuel saving might have to start becoming a bit of a thing, and that's not good when for the first time all race since the pit stops, Leclerc is back inside our DRS. That's the problem for us. It's actually through the S's and on the exit of Dunlop. The car, we can take it too quickly. So yeah, we're using more fuel than the team are expecting us to, because we're taking those final couple of turns pretty much flat out. That's going to be a real problem in towards the last couple of laps here. Luckily, it hasn't been an issue all day, but yeah, we've probably got, well, as you can see, no spare fuel left in the car. Go Charles Leclerc. I don't think I'm going to have much say this time round as we make our way back down towards turn 1. Our teammate closing in on me rather rapidly. He's not going to have a look, though, in towards that first corner, so that is critical for him. So I guess this time around, yeah, we're going to have to try and just coast off through these first couple of corners. You see that blend the throttle through a little bit more. Of course, near impossible to make an overtake round here. You can still see how much kind of we're losing against the Delta still. I mean, I'm going to be interested to see what that gap is to Alonso by the end of this race, but I think it's in our best interest. Let Leclerc by, and then use him for a slipstream down in towards those down in towards turn 1. Maybe then we can make up enough as Alonso instantly, whoa, takes us almost a second out of me there. Leclerc thought about having a look down the inside of the hairpin after I locked up, but we'll park it again on the exit. We'd be really strategic here and actually let Leclerc by before we get to the DRS point. You can see the team have told us to target fuel saving. We're not going to do that.
Quite what we needed, but let's not worry about it. Get your head down and chin up. There's a long way to go.
So we're going to try and claim the DRS there as wheel to wheel with our teammate through the final couple of corners. 3 laps to go of this Grand Prix, and look at that. Yeah, that's worked out nicely for us that time. But the fuel reading is measuring pretty much exactly 0. So this is not looking good for us. We're going to have to use all the best of my ability to keep ahead of Charles. But you can see Alonso nearly 3 seconds faster on that last lap. Do we sacrifice the win to make sure that Ferrari get it? Are we putting driver over team right now? Again, Leclerc, for whatever reason, seems to be strongest down this back straight, so we'll take the DRS if he's willing to give it to me. I wish the AI were still a bit more dynamic inside this game as well. You know, they kind of thought a bit more. You know, they're definitely artificial, but the intelligence is still, haven't quite decided about that one there as well. A big oversteer moment through the final corner. We've got to try and put the power down, back down towards someone though, and I think this time Leclerc might just have the legs on me. Are we going to be able to have a look to the inside? Leclerc really tries to cover me off in towards that first corner. We're not going to back out of it though. We will force one Ferrari down the inside of the other. Wheel to wheel in towards the S's, and again, Leclerc, I don't think he wants a fight over it at the moment. I think he just wants to make sure we get to the last lap. This time around, Leclerc, you can again just see him waiting in the wings this time. Just going to try and time his run so that he doesn't give me the DRS yet again. So clearly, he is starting to learn a little bit towards the end of this race. But still, that gap is coming down to those cars behind. And this time around, Leclerc surely is going to get the run on me. Back down towards someone. DRS open for him. Oh, I've got to be careful I don't put him in the inside wall. As we're trying to have a look clean around the outside again, though, we'll go. We're squeezing him. We're forcing him. We're not playing, you know, maybe the way Leclerc will be happy. But he did drive through me early on. Let's not forget that. Oh, we've got yellows. We've got yellows. Ollie Behrman. Behrman's gone very late on in the afternoon, so disappointing for the Williams man. As a mechanical failure is going to ruin his day, but you can just see now that fuel drops to minus 001. It actually goes all the way to 002. Whoa, that was not quite what I wanted to do into Spoon, and Leclerc once more will say thank you very much there. A little bit of wheel banging this time round between ourselves and our teammate, but one more lap to go. Who is going to claim victory? Here at Suzuka, we haven't got the straight line speed to even bother having a look around the outside through 130R, but we will switch him on the exterior. As you can see, Leclerc now with a little bit of front wing damage, so not too sure where he picked that up. But as we go side by side through the final couple of turns, of course, obviously, that would have been contact with us, but I'm guessing it was when we went round his outside at turn 1 last time. Side by side, back down towards the first corner, though. Who is going to come out on top this time round? As Leclerc doesn't want to back out of it. He will just about slot in there, but he forces us out a little bit wide. And look at that, yellow flags out at the perfect time because Leclerc can't do anything about it. And as we navigate our way up through the S's once again, I mean, how many times have we gone wheel to wheel with our teammate? I tell you what, so far inside F124, it really does feel like there's no guarantee which way it'll go. Anytime we come together here, the gap's still coming down to those cars behind. And you got to remember, in this game, you do need to have a little bit extra in reserve as well. Otherwise, we might just conk out on the run towards the start-finish line here. Let's not forget as well, Leclerc, he has always been strong down in towards 130R as well. So this has been one of the more oddly chaotic Grand Prix of the year. We've still got Alonso and Piastri waiting on in if something were to happen on the final lap of this Grand Prix, but we used the undercut really nicely after a couple of little errors early on in the GP. We have pushed hard right towards the end of the afternoon to try and open up an opportunity for ourselves. Here comes Leclerc, though, down in towards the final couple of corners. Are we going to see our teammate get close enough? I don't think we will this time round. And as we make our way through, Japan has not been a good circuit for us in recent years, but through the final corner, have we got enough fuel? It's going to go into low mix 1. We've done it.
Yes, guys, yes! Come on, boys!
Another action-packed Japanese Grand Prix comes to an end then, and a magnificent drive to take the win today.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Japanese Grand Prix. And I tell you what, I think for the first time ever, we are going to lead the Formula 1 World Championship inside F124 there. We take the dub here in Suzuka. Leclerc P2, just 0.3 of a second in it come the checkered flag. But Alonso, easily my driver of the day there. 12th on the grid. He had an absolute stinker after some grid penalties as well. But he fought back through, and it's another podium for Aston Martin this series. Oscar Piastri ahead of Norris, Hamilton, Stroll, Russell, Ocon and Sergio Perez will round out your top 10 there. And Alex Albon agonisingly close to some more points for Williams as well. Their sights also broke down on the last lap of the Grand Prix, but he was still able to beat out Ollie Behrman, who failed to see the finish. The gap at the top, it was 4 points coming in, it's 2 points leaving Suzuka, but it is the other way around. And like I said, I think for the first time ever inside this game, we are going to lead a Formula 1 World Championship, and in doing so, become the first repeat winner of the year as well so far. Norris, a bit of a quiet weekend after a dominant display in Albert Park, Australia, with Alonso now up into P4 ahead of Piastri and Stroll there. Verstappen all the way down in P8. Perez, 10th place overall in the Drivers' Championship after the opening few rounds there. And constructors-wise, well, yeah, every team has scored points so far this year, but Ferrari opening up a 59-point lead at the top of the table as well there. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back early next week, ready when Formula 1 returns, ready for the Shanghai Sprint. That one's going to be crazy, and certainly is going to spice up the title fight.